my version of wrestling's WBC Green Belt Challenge. United World Wrestling is getting close to have a pro wrestling feeling to it. Why do I say this? Well, how can I put it? If you was to combine amateur wrestling with pro wrestling style, or should I say way of look or rules? Cause see, this came to me while watching this series called Ring Nari Kakiru, where a young Yuji Naiga, Japan's youth wrestling champion, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Yuji Naiga, aka the Blue General himself, legend, made an appearance in this series. As a young teenager, gave me this idea. I mean, come on now. For many times I've done my video about how amateur and pros should stand on the same stage because, well, the Green Belt Challenge is based on a pro boxing organization. They're just amateurs, though. Same rules, same regulations. So why does United World Wrestling do the same thing? Now you're wondering, okay, so where is this going? Well, this is going to a place where you understand. If the Green Belt Challenge is a WBC amateur competition where they give out green belts to the winners who win this amateur pro boxing competition, should they do the same thing? I mean, they also give out belts in United World Wrestling. Wow. Crazy. I mean, think about it. If they was to do a green belt challenge where they put a poster of champions fighting against each other to get this belt, shouldn't it be like, a wrestling match? I mean, any pro boxing match? Just like how they do wrestling? Set up a tape type thing. Who's challenging who? I mean, come on now. In the Green Belt Challenge, you see in this image, two fighters fighting for this amateur boxing title belt that has a pro organization logos on it. So if United World Wrestling was to do the same thing, where they have the wrestler walks out there wearing the belt, playing his song, do no promo, just go out there and wrestle, then, and if they win, they get the belt, a different belt, but still, that means he loses status as a champion. His or her status as champion. Forgive me. Just like do the Green Belt Challenge. Whoever lose, they lose their status as a champion, right? Win or lose, either way. So that's what this idea for this United World Wrestling have a pro wrestling theme to it because of this series and this character in the series known as Rinari Kakiru. It's an amateur boxing anime. So check it out. You see what I'm talking about. I mean, the boy actually fight like a wrestler in the series. If you don't believe me, check out episode 7. You'll see what I'm talking about. So, United World Wrestling. What if? Hold on. I know you're gonna talk about, dude, there's something wrong with you. They can't do nothing like that. What if they was to put a wrestling mat, an amateur wrestling mat, inside a ring where pro wrestlers wrestle in? Huh? And inside that ring, an amateur wrestling match where the pro wrestlers wrestle in, you will see what it would look like if amateur wrestlers was to wrestle in that ring. I mean, I had to look for an image or a video on this. And you know what's real crazy? What's real crazy? I actually found it. Amateur wrestlers on the mat, on an amateur mat, wrestling in the ring. In a ring, wrestling ring, where pro wrestlers wrestle at. I mean, don't you think it'll be more exciting to see that? Organizers of the United World Wrestling, don't you think that'd be exciting to see that? I mean, come on, think about it. Think about it. If they were being backed by any pro wrestling organization like New Japan Pro Wrestling or WWE, they have the same, almost the same rules and regulations as a pro wrestler, but still being an amateur wrestler, right? Right, United World Wrestling. I mean, come on, think about it. If they want to wrestle like any pro wrestling organization and have the ability to wrestle in the same ring as a pro wrestler, United World Wrestling will be even more exciting. I'm gonna keep on saying it, even more exciting. I like saying, dude, that's kind of stupid. Where you going with this? I mean, see right there? That look like amateur wrestlers wrestling inside of a wrestling ring. But what organization is this? Is it WWF, WCW, NWA? New Japan Pro Wrestling? I'm sorry. All Japan Pro Wrestling? So, if they was to put a logo of the wrestling organization on a belt, I would say to be backed by, to make this thing a amateur pro theme like competition. What do I call this? And teamed up with USA Wrestling and WWE. United World Wrestling, I would say it would call a gold belt wrestling challenge. Yeah, a gold belt wrestling challenge. That means as soon as they win this, they have to wait until the next competition to see who challenged them to a match for their belt. Well, at that time, they would lose their status as champion, but not have their belt stripped off of them and given another one, because that means we're keeping up with their status, their way of wrestling, how they're doing it. So, what do you think of this idea of my version of a wrestling WBC Green Belt Challenge? We don't call it the Gold United World Wrestling WWE Gold Belt Challenge. I'm your boy Chris Blackthorn here. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, share, leave a comment below. Tell me what you think about this wrestling video. Because it comes to my wrestling, I'm not just a powerhouse, I'm also a technician.